Okay, so quite a few of you have asked me for a guide on both the shops and also where to spend your gems, so I'm going to try to cover them in this topic. But before that, I just want to address some of the comments that I have seen on my channel, which is that a lot of people are saying this game is very pay-to-win heavy. It's going to cost a lot of resources for money to actually train up one of the Generation Miracle character to, let's say, 50% unlock or 60% talent, etc. Now, I'm going to be very honest with you guys. That is to be expected, okay? It's not to say this game is pay-to-win. It's just that in this game, you don't need to have that many characters. So probably over the entire your experience in this game, depending on how long you're going to play it, obviously. But probably you are only expected to use 2 or 3 characters for the first few months. So as a result, you don't really need to get a character completely leveled up on just what, day 5 of this launch of the game. So you don't need to rush for them. And especially right now, because the game just launched, everyone's still at the lower leagues in the ranks. You don't even need one of those premium characters to do well. Loads of the free-to-play characters the game literally give out for you, they are perfectly good enough for the job, okay? So just to show you guys as an example, I reroll for Zhong Kagmi. He's still stuck at 0%. Not because I don't have resources to actually level him up, I do, but there's just no need for me to level him up yet because I'm perfectly fine with the free-to-play characters right now. And it's not going to harm my experience or harm my win rate. As you can see, I have 81% win rate. This is complete from solo matchmaking as well. So you can see here, nothing which is like a duo or trio. I always solo by myself, and I'm able to do all of that with just the free-to-play characters, okay? So you can see vast majority of my games is with Izuki, and that's 80% win rate. So there's really no need for you to use one of the more premium characters so early on. And if you do have to use them, like you can see here, even at 0%, he is still all going to be okay in those lower leagues or in the lower ranks. And by the time you actually win enough to get into the higher ranks, naturally your resources would also have built enough, and then therefore you would actually be able to unlock their talents, etc. Okay, so it kind of goes hand in hand. In the early game, you don't need those expensive pay-to-win characters, and then by the time you actually need them, you would have resources by that point as well. Okay, so that's basically the main thing I want to clarify in case people think this game is very pay-to-win. And you guys can already see from my win rate. Granted, it's still at the lower league, so it's probably not the best representation, but it's already quite obvious that skills is going to be more important than the actual characters themselves, okay? As long as you know what to do in actual games, even with any kind of free-to-play characters, you're able to achieve good results, okay? You don't need a pay-to-win character in order to win in this game. Now let's move on to the main topic, which is actually the shops and also where to spend your diamond. So in terms of the shop kind of split into 3 sections. One is kind of this paid shop, which you have to use real life money. It's also kind of spread around along some of the other places as well. For example, here, sorry, no, that's first purchase. It's not there. Total purchase. For example, there's also a rookie fund where you can also spend some real life money. So that's kind of those paid shop. And then you have the general shop, which is basically those ones here. A lot of the stuff you can buy it from using just diamonds in this shop. And then the last location is a bit hidden, but it's something called mode shop. But basically, if you go into here, there's 3 different modes. I'm not sure what's the team shop, by the way, but there's a training shop and also a club shop where you can also buy stuff here as well, okay? So let's go through them one by one. So starting off, let's go through the paid shop. So the most valuable thing, if you want to spend real life money, it's going to be this permanent pass because it's literally for the whole lifetime, okay? Every single day you're going to get this free reward. And depending on how long you're going to play this game, the return on this essentially can be infinite. Now, I haven't bought it personally myself purely because the game is not out in Europe, but if it is, I probably would have purchased it if I actually want to play this game long term. So if you do want to support the game, this is going to be the number 1 place. And then after that, the next 2 best plays is going to be this rookie weekly pass and also the diamond monthly pass, okay? Those are the next most valuable thing. Followed by that will be the battle pass as well. So this will be the season journey. And in this one, the nice thing is that you're actually able to obtain Himuro. So if you really want to play him, this is a nice way to get both the character and also loads of resources to train him up. So this is also very valuable, but only if you actually want to play the character. Then the next place I'll probably say is going to be in this fund, rookie fund. Well, I'm kind of taking it by a word here, saying it's like 8 times. I haven't actually done the calculation, but this could potentially also be good. Those are probably the main place I'm going to recommend. And then depending on how big is your wallet, you can potentially buy the ability and the talent pass as well if you want. Okay, so those are all going to be all of the main paid ones. Now let's move on to the free-to-play ones. Sorry, not the gacha, it's the shop. So in this one, in the rookie shop, okay, this are all paid, but this one which I noticed, which has pretty good value. So it's about $1 for 10 ability summon ticket. So you can probably get that. Nothing out here I think is going to be worth it. Then here's the ones where you can actually spend your diamonds in. For this training special, the only one I recommend are going to be for the Generation Miracle training box, because normally this gives you 5 training cards. Normally that's cost 1500, whereas now you're able to buy them at discount at just 1360. Okay, so that's worth it. Then in the gacha shop, a lot of those are for the random cosmetic banner, so it's going to be depending on whether or not you care about the cosmetic. Now, if you do want to summon on the Generation Miracle banner, you can actually buy this every single week as well. It's also at a discount, but it's a very small discount. So it's going to be mainly depending on whether or not you actually want to buy the standard banner tickets. Personally, I think probably saving up for the premium character is going to be better. But obviously, if the character you actually want is in the standard banner already, then you can buy this every single week as well. Okay. Then lastly, it's going to be the trade shop. This one's pay to win only right now because it requires paid voucher, which needs real life money. This one, two-way player and make some noise are actually really good trade, but eventually they would be added into the normal gacha system in this ability section. So unless you just want to have like a 1 or 2, I don't know. I don't actually know how long the season is. I want to say like unless you want to have, let's say, 1 or 2 months advantage over everyone else. Otherwise, probably the best option is to actually just wait for that time, and then they should be added into the standard pool for the gacha tickets, for the ability gacha summons, and then you can just obtain them there. Okay, so this is going to be like a massive pay to win option if you want that 1 or 2 months advantage. Now let's move on to the data more. Talent card, you will be needing to buy them, but obviously only for the one character you actually want. You should only use diamond to buy them if it's actually the character you want to train up, and if it's a Generation Miracle of the premium characters. For anyone else, there's going to be the option of actually using this resource, this training card page fragment, to exchange for them instead. So that's what you should be doing. It's only limited 10 times a day as well. Okay, so you would actually need to come back every single day to train up a character and max them out. Then in the data mode, this actually allows you to purchase some characters. For any of the ones which cost diamond, it's not worth it because you can just choose them on your wish list for the gacha. For anyone which require gold coins, you can buy them eventually in the long term, but more for the purpose of awakening. And the reason is that when you actually have a dupe on a character and you spend the gold coin to buy them, it will be automatic to convert it into awakening cards. And once you have the awakening card, what you can do is that you can then convert the awakening card, decompose them into this fragment for the awakening shop. And once you have those, you can then start buying dupes onto the actual characters you want. Okay, so that's why even though you may already have a character, it's still worth spending the gold coins to buy them out. But early game, I don't actually recommend this because early game your gold coins should actually go into the daily shop to buy either the lemon or buy the promotion card or buy the training manual. Okay, so you can actually spend your gold coin to buy those instead in the early game because you actually need them. But late game, once you don't actually need those resources anymore, you can then go into the data mode to buy the characters. Okay. Now, for the daily shop, like I said, you should only be spending your gold coins on the lemon, manual, and promotion card, and that's pretty much only early game as well. Anything else costs diamonds, you should skip them. I know some people might be tempted to buy the advanced training manual because we don't get a huge amount of them, but once again, like I said, this is something you can build up over time, and there's no rush for you to build up one of those premium characters immediately as soon as you get them so early on in the game. So to me, this is not worth it in the long run. Trade voucher shop, not sure what those are. I'm just gonna skip that. Skin mode, this is just for cosmetic, okay? So there's not much to talk about that. If you really like some kind of the character skin, then you can go and buy them. But it's only for cosmetic reasons. Now the next one's gonna be in the mode shop. So first one, training shop. For this one, if there's a character that you actually want to train up and they have their talent cards on sale, then you should buy it. Otherwise, if there's no character you want, then you should be buying the diamonds instead, okay? But basically use up your coins. Even if it's have to go into diamonds, just make sure you use it up every single week. Now the value for them is actually going to be exactly the same. So for example here, you can see 1 diamond is essentially going to be 1 coin, and that's also going to be the same case here, okay? 300 coins to buy a talent card, which normally costs 300 gems, okay? So the conversion rate is exactly the same. Obviously, if you actually have a character you want, what you can do is you can buy the training card, and then for whatever leftover gems you have, then you go and purchase the diamonds here. Whereas if there's no character you actually want to level up here, and normally when I say this, I only mean the Generation Miracle with the premium character, because once again, for the other ones, you can buy their training card using the training fragments already. Okay, so unless you want to buy Kisei, for example, this week, otherwise you should be using all of your coins on the diamonds instead. And then if you do want to buy Kisei, I don't know how much coin you guys have, but after buying the 3 copies of Kisei, if there's any left over, you should just use it on the diamonds as well. Okay. Now, if you don't want to buy Kisei and you have more than 1,000, so you have already bought out diamonds, just save the remainder for the next week, because eventually this will change to an actual character that you do want to level up. And then for those kind of occasions, you can then buy both the training card and diamonds in the same week. Okay, so that's kind of the main idea here. Then for the club shop, the main one you want to buy is going to be this advanced training manual. Okay, this is going to be one location where you can actually buy them. It's only a tiny amount, but you should definitely buy it out every single week. Then the next one I would say it's going to be training card page fragments, and then followed up by ability material. Okay, this one is actually a discounted value at this one, so that's kind of why you want to buy this one out first. And then after that, early game, I will also recommend you guys get the experience card, gold card, and also training manual. However, late game you don't need those 3 anymore, and then late game you can just spend it on either the ability or the trade material instead. Okay, so that's basically all of the shops. Now let's talk about where should you actually spend your gems. Now, the first thing you have to know is that right now you guys may have a huge amount of gems, but that's only because the game just launched. You're able to actually get them in from all of those beginner events, etc. So to give you guys a quick example, here right now there's a rookie training. No, it's a rookie training. No, it's not rookie training. Match tasks, for example, this only lasts for 1 week, and one of the things that every single day you can earn 30 gems, right? So, and there are going to be some of those rewards just scattered around all of those events, which are only available because it's a beginner. The game just launched, so don't take this for granted that you always have this many gems. However, when you do have the gems, it's also gonna be important to know where you actually want to spend them. So in terms of where you actually want to spend them, basically there are going to be 3 locations. Number 1 is going to be the gacha. So here there are going to be 2 types of gacha. One is going to be the Generation Miracle, which is called the standard pool. One is going to be the limited character, which is more like the premium banner. Eventually, all of the character here will be added into standard pool. It may not be this standard pool. It might be a separate standard pool, for example, just for all of the zone characters. So that could happen. There might be 2 standard pool going on, but eventually all of those characters will be available for you to obtain outside of their banner. So don't worry about this limited time. Now, in terms of when you actually want to spend your gem to actually summon for them, generally speaking, I recommend you summoning them just to get the character, but I wouldn't summon on them to get any dupes. And the reason for this is once again the same thing. If you actually want the dupes, what you can do is you can get loads of copy of those free-to-play characters, and eventually they can be converted in order to for those kind of free dupes that you're able to buy out from the shop. Now, this will take a long time, so I'm not gonna lie, it will take a long time. But if you're a free-to-play player, this is obviously going to be better rather than dumping loads of diamonds trying to go for another copy. Okay, so that's going to be my recommendation if you're a free-to-play player. If you're a pay-to-win player, then obviously if you have the extra gems, you can go here to get dupes because it will be faster. Now that's gonna be one way of where you can spend your gems, so on the gacha system, but only for new players in my opinion, for new characters in my opinion, rather than for dupes. Then the next place where you should be spending your gems is going to be in the data mall. So this will be buying the talent card for whichever character you actually want to level up. Once again, to me, this is no rush because even if you obtain the character, you don't have to play him immediately, okay? So this is more like a long-term investment. And when you take a look at character, first of all, you might see the character have absolutely loads of different skills that they need to actually upgrade. But what you should always bear in mind is that some of the skills are not actually that important. So I'm going to take example, for example, for John Cockby, for example, there's this skill here, which is behind the back pass. This is going to be only for the occasion where you're going to get blocks. To me, this is probably not the most valuable place to spend 10 talent cards because one is RNG based. Second, I was saying is that ideally you don't want to be in a situation where you will be blocked anyway, right? So that's kind of why this to me is probably not the most valuable thing to spend your talent card in. So even though a character can cost loads of talent cards to be completely unlocked, what you should do is actually take a look at all of those nodes to see which ones are actually important to the character, which ones you can actually go budget with. And then once you have a rough idea of how many talent cards you need, you can then go into the shop and just buy them out. Okay, so that's kind of the main idea. Now, for all of the free-to-play character, there's a limit on only 10 times per day. However, for the premium character, as you can see, there's no limit. So that's kind of what you can literally just save up all the way until a point where you know exactly how many talent cards you need, and then just buy it out and then start playing the character. So this is going to be the second location where you can spend your gems. And then the third location is going to be on the ability gacha system. I recommend doing this right now because the game actually gives you lots of trade, but the main reason why you want to dump some diamonds onto this is first of all to actually level up your ability, but then the second thing, which is more important, is that you want to go 100 times so that you can get this trade selectable kit. Now the thing is, right now, because of all of those events, beginner events, the game actually gives you quite a few free trades already. So personally, I don't actually see that there's a necessity of going 100 times just to summon on this. Now the game does give you quite a few vouchers, so you can actually use them, and there is going to be an ability event happening right now as well. If I just show you guys, so there's this ability rewards event as well. So what I have been doing is I'm just using my vouchers to do 20 pulls every single day to complete the daily missions. So you guys can also do that, but personally right now I wouldn't recommend dumping off my diamonds into that. However, one time where I would actually recommend maybe spending diamonds on the ability, it's going to be the time when the pay to win trades are actually added into the game. So like I said earlier, eventually at some point, I don't know whether it's 1 month or 2 months, but when the season finish, this two trades, so the two-way player and also make some noise, they will be added into this gacha system where you are then able to summon for them. And at that point, I would actually recommend maybe spending some of your spending some of your gems onto this potential gacha system, just so that you're actually able to get this trade selectable and then obtain this two-way player and also make some noise, because they are some of the best trades. Okay, so this is potentially something you can also do in the future, depending on whether or not you want the new traits which are available in the selectable. But right now, I'll probably say the main focus on where you should spend your gems will be either on the gacha system to actually obtain the character, or once you have the character, then go into the shop section and buy their talent cards. Okay. Alright, so that's everything I think you need to know regarding shops, both in terms of real life money and also the in-game resources. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section.